Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear students. So today, inshallah, we will start with class number 4, in which we will talk about the Elizabethan period from 1558 to 1603 or 1603. In the previous class, we talked about the early Tudor period. I hope you got the chance to look at that time, in which we talked about the Renaissance, which means rebirth. And then we talked about poetry during that period, which in which we focused mainly on the sonnet. And we looked at example of the Petrarchan sonnets and the English sonnet. The sonnets that we focused on were those of Sir Thomas Wyatt, Henry Howard, Earl of Surrey, and Shakespeare. So I hope that you find them interesting. Okay, we talked the second sonnet that we talked about in that previous video was Henry Howard, Earl of Surrey, a complaint by night. Okay, and then there were two questions. Please try to answer them. Today, inshallah, we will continue with the sonnets, and in this part, we will talk about, or we will discuss some of Shakespeare sonnets. So let's start with the background about the non-dramatic poetry. Okay, so let's come to the Elizabethan period, and we will start with the background. So the Elizabethan era took place from 1558 to 1603 and is considered by many historians to be the golden age in English history. During this era, England experienced peace and prosperity while the arts flourished. The time period is named after Queen Elizabeth I, who ruled England during this time, or during that time. Queen Elizabeth was a Protestant and was constantly in danger of being assassinated by Catholics who wanted to replace her with Mary, Queen of Scots. There is actually a series which is called Reign, and it talks about this actual fight between Elizabeth and Mary. But from the point of view of the writer, I guess that you would actually sympathize with Mary, not with Elizabeth. Okay, Queen Elizabeth, okay, let's continue. Queen Elizabeth never married nor had children. She said she was married to her country. English poetry flourished, okay, including the sonnet. Famous poets including Edmund Spenser and William Shakespeare appeared in that period. Okay, now let's come to what we call as non-dramatic poetry. Now from its title or its name, non-dramatic, so no drama is involved in this poem. Drama means, when we talk about the drama, we talk about dialogues, we talk about actors, we talk about actions, events, but with non-dramatic poetry, it means that no characters, no dialogue between those characters, and no action or telling like a story. So non-dramatic poetry is one that explains, describes, or narrates a particular idea, theme, or subject. It doesn't usually employ dialogue or action. Famous dramatic poets are Sir Philip Sidney and Edmund Spenser and William Shakespeare. So three of them: Sir Philip Sidney, Edmund Spenser, and William Shakespeare. Of course, our focus, inshallah, will be on William Shakespeare. So let's start with William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was an English playwright and poet and an actor, widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's greatest dramatist. He is often called England's national poet. Shakespeare wrote 154 sonnets published in his quarto in 1609, covering themes such as the passage of time, mortality, love, beauty, infidelity, and jealousy. So Shakespeare is considered one of the the major writers or poets in the English literature, and that's why you have to know a lot about William Shakespeare and about his works. Take good care of his plays, for example, of his sonnets, because usually when you apply for the job of a teacher or other jobs related to teaching, there will be some questions related to William Shakespeare. Okay? Now, what is a Shakespearean sonnet? Now, if you remember when we explained talking about the sonnets, we said that the main or the original sonnet is the Italian sonnet, which is called Petrarchan sonnet. And this sonnet consists of 14 lines. The first 8 lines are called octave, and the next 6 lines are called sestet. Okay? Now, after that, there was, and of course, the rhyme of the Petrarchan sonnet, if you remember, is A, B, B, A, B, B, A, C, D, E, D, C, E. So, now, after that, Shakespeare came and actually adapted the Petrarchan sonnet. Okay, so today we have something called Shakespearean sonnet. So similar to the previous or original sonnets, all the sonnets for Shakespeare also have 14 lines. And all sonnets are written in iambic pentameter. We talked about iambic pentameter. So all sonnets are 14 lines, and all sonnets are written in iambic pentameter. So what is the difference? Now, the rhyming pattern of a Shakespearean sonnet is different. Okay? The Shakespearean sonnet expresses a single idea, but the division into 3 quatrains and 1 couplet. So we don't have 8 lines as octave and 6 lines as sestet, but we have 3 quatrains, okay, and a couplet. The quatrain, if you remember, we call it a quatrain if the stanza has 4 lines. So if the stanza has 4 lines, we call it quatrains. So we have here 3 quatrains, it means 12 lines. And the last 2 lines out of the 14 are called the couplet, okay? This couplet allows the poet to switch the focus, dealing with a different aspect of the idea in each section. Okay, so here the idea dealing with a different aspect of idea in each section. We will see how in each quatrain he will talk about a different idea until we reach the couplet. Okay, in a Shakespearean sonnet, the quatrain patterns look like this: A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F. So this is the rhyme. This is the rhyme of the Shakespearean sonnet. And the couplet is G, G. All the words ending the lines with the same letter rhyme with each other. So this is a major difference between the Petrarchan sonnet, which has a rhyme scheme of A, B, B, A, but here we have in the first quatrain A, B, A, B. Now in the second quatrain we have C, D, C, D, while in the Petrarchan sonnet we have another A, B, B, A. Now the last 6 lines with Shakespeare we have E, F, E, F, G, G, while with the Petrarchan we have C, D, E, D, C, E. Okay, so definitely they are different from each other. Now, another feature of the Shakespearean sonnets is that all of them follow the pattern of this rhyme. All of them. We may have some changes with other sonnets, but with the Shakespearean, he always follow this rhyme scheme. Now, here is Shakespeare's sonnet 116. The sonnets are given actually numbers, not titles, and that's why you need to know the number and could learn the beginning, the first line of the sonnet, where the writer, where he writes about love, we said that one of the themes that he talked about here is love. Okay, so he talked about different topics, but one of them, or different subjects or themes, one of them is love. So let's look at sonnet 116. So look at the lines, and we will focus here on the rhyme scheme, the rhyme, القافية. Okay, so the first quatrain, let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments, love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Okay, so it's find, minds, finds, love, remove. Okay, so A, B, A, B. This is the first quatrain. Let's come to the second quatrain. Oh no, it's an ever fixed mark that looks in tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. So we have mark and bark. So C, C. Shaken, taken. D, D. Okay. The third quatrain. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of dawn. Okay. Now look here, and cheeks, weeks. So E, E, come, dum, F, F. Okay. So this is the third quatrain. Now look at the fourth quatrain. The couplet. If this be error and upon me proved, I never write nor no man ever loved. Okay. So you have proved, loved, G, G. Okay. So this is the rhyme scheme of the Shakespearean sonnet. Okay. So Shakespeare's sonnet 116 can be seen as the definitive response to the what is love. This is a question. What is love? So as if Shakespeare is answering in this sonnet this question. Somebody is asking him, what is love? What do you mean by love? So the whole sonnet is to define love and the meaning of love. So love is given here an identity as an immortal force. Immortal, it means that this force never ends or never dies, which overcomes age, death, and time itself. So this is the meaning of love for Shakespeare. It's not something that dies by age or if death comes or because of time. It never dies because it's immortal. Okay, so love, unlike the physical being, is not subject to decay. Okay, so it is something abstract. Okay, and it is unique by being immortal. It lives forever. It never finishes. Even if the people got old, even if the person you love died, even if the time passed, a lot of time passed without being with your lover. So this will never come to an end. Now the first quatrain announces that love is perfect and can't be affected by anything. It can't be affected by anything. Okay, so let me just look at the first quatrain. When he says, what does he say? Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds. Okay? Or bends with the remover to remove. Then let me not to the marriage of true minds. Okay, admit impediments. يعني دعوني يعني أعترف أن زواج العقول الصحيحة، يعني العقول المتناسبة مع بعضها البعض، لا تقف أمامه العوائق. Love is not love. فالحب ليس حبا إذا تغير عند حدوث شيء يسبب تغييره أو انحنى أمام المصاعب. So the first quatrain announces that love is perfect and can't be affected by anything. وإلا, it doesn't mean it is love. It's not love. The second quatrain, which starts with oh no, it is in an ever fixed mark, علامة ثابتة, okay? Or it could be here, I would consider it as like the lighthouse, okay? That looks on tempests and is never shaken. بتشوفوا المنارة اللي بتشرف على كل العواصف بتمر عليها والأمواج العاتية ولكنها لا تهتز. okay? It is the star to every wandering park. يعني معنى هيك أنه الحب عبارة عن النجم. تعرفوا النجم في القطب الشمالي, the North Pole, it never actually disappear. So every time the sailors want to find their way on the sea, they just follow the North Pole star. Okay? So the second quatrain elaborates on that, showing that love is something absolutely stable in a tumultuous world. Okay? So even if the world is turbulent, okay, or full of problems, the love is stable. Okay? Similar to the lighthouse or the star in the sky. And of course, we are not talking about any star, just the star of the North Pole, okay, because it never disappears. Okay, the third quatrain, which starts with love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickles compass come. إذن الحب مش خاضع للزمن والوقت، حتى لو إنه الجمال الشفايف والخدود مع الوقت بيتم إنهائها أو بتنتهي مع الوقت. Love alters not. الحب لا يتغير with his brief hours and weeks. الحب لا يتغير مع الوقت. okay? But bears it out even to the edge of doom. ولكنه يستمر حتى يوم الحساب. Okay, so the third quatrain switches the focus to time and suggests that love lasts forever. So time doesn't beat love, but love beats time. The couplet, let's look at you can go and look at the couplet. If this be error, لو تفكيري هذا خاطئ, okay, and upon me proved, وتم إثبات إنه أنا بحكي عن معنى الحب خطأ, I never write. لن أكتب أبدا. Nor no man ever loved. ولن يقع شخص أو لن يعتبر أي شخص في العالم قد وقع في الحب. So the couplet is a final summing up in which the poet takes his career on the truth of what he's revealed about love. يعني هو براهن بوظيفته أو بعمله مهنته ككاتب. إذا ما كانش الحب الحقيقي بالمعنى الذي هو أو وصفه لنا فسيتوقف عن الكتابة تماما. Okay. Now sonnet 116, explanation in modern English. So this is the explanation of the sonnet. Okay, so let's look at it. Okay, so I would not admit, this is how you can translate it or understand the story of this sonnet. I would not admit that anything could interfere with the union of two people who love each other. Love that alters with changing circumstances is not love, nor if it bends from its firm state when someone tries to destroy it. Oh no, it's an eternally fixed point that watches storms but is never itself shaken by them. It is the star by which every lost ship can be guided. One can calculate its distance but not gauge its quality. Okay? So love doesn't bend on time. Although the rosy lips and cheeks of youth eventually come within the compass of time's sickle. Sickle اللي هي المنجل. As if the time is a person, okay? And it is cutting the lives, okay, of the people with the sickle, okay? Love doesn't alter as the days and weeks go by, but endures until death. If I'm wrong about this, then I've never written anything, and no man has ever loved. Love here, Shakespeare tells us, isn't something that wears itself out over weeks, months, and years, but remains firm right throughout the lives of the lovers, and doesn't even end with their death, but continues until the world ends. You know, all the stories of a great love, like Abla wa Antar, for example, their love continued until their death, but it didn't die by their death. Until now, we can tell the story of the love between Abla wa Antar, right? So their love continued to exist even longer after their death. So the real love doesn't die by time during the life of the lovers, and even after their death, it will continue to exist. Okay? If it is not true, then our writer, Shakespeare, will stop writing and nobody would fall in love in this world. Okay. Now let's come to the literary devices in Sonnet 116. There is an alliteration. If you remember, the alliteration is the repetition of the same consonant sound in the words in the same line. So the repetition here, I introduced its definition again, though we did it in class number 1, just to remind you. So the alliteration is the repetition of words that begin with the same consonant sound. For example, marriage and minds in the first line, remover and remove in the fourth line. Okay, so this is called alliteration, الجناس, which will create music, okay, rhythm and the music for the lines. Okay, what else? We have personification. What do we mean by personification? It means giving the non-human or non-living things the ability or characteristics seen in human beings. Okay? So, for example, let me not to the marriage of true minds. Look at the word marriage. Who get married? Who get married? Only human beings. But here he talks about the minds. The minds get married as if they are people. So marriage is a ceremony which only two people can take part in. Minds cannot be married. Only people can. So this is personification. He depicts the minds as people who get married. Okay? So Shakespeare depicted the minds as people who get married. Okay? Shakespeare also personifies time. Okay, so Shakespeare also personifies time and love. Love is not time's fool. Okay, of course here when we talk, before I continue with this one, when we talk about the true minds, here we refer to the lovers. So love is not only about emotions, but also about minds being compatible with each other. Now Shakespeare also personifies time and love. Love's not time's fool. تخيلوا يعني اعتبر انه الحب ليس مجنون أو عبد للتايم. Okay? Within his bending sickles compass come. طلع على his. His here refers to time. So as if time is a man, could be a farmer. Bending sickles اللي هي المنجل. Compass come. Okay? إذن love is not time's fool. So as if love is a person and this person is fool, and time is a person and he is subjugated or illiterate the love. Okay? Now an extended metaphor to relate the idea of unchanging love to nautical terms. After that we have an extended metaphor. An extended metaphor. I'll show you where the extended metaphor. Okay? Here. Here. Look at the second quatrain when he say, oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempests اللي هي العواصف في البحر and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering park whose worth unknown although his height be taken. Okay? So here we have the where are we? There is an extended metaphor to relate the idea of unchanging love to nautical terms. In his opinion, love should be an ever-fixed mark that looks in tempests and is never shaken. A tempest is a violent squall usually used to describe fast-moving storms at sea. العواصف الهائجة في البحار. The next line reinforces Shakespeare's nautical extended metaphor by comparing the surety of true love to a star that every wandering bark or lost ship could use to navigate themselves home safely. So this is one of the metaphors to depict or to perceive love as a fixed mark, and the second thing to perceive the love as a star. إذا ميتافور اللي هي كناية. في الكناية الأولى شبه الحب بالمنارة في البحر، أوكي؟ وفي الكناية الثانية شبه الحب أو اعتبر الحب كأنه نجم الشمال. نجم الشمال. Okay, so this is though his use of extended metaphor, through his use of extended metaphor, Shakespeare conveys the theme of steadfast love in the face of hardship. Okay, I will stop here and I will continue with the second, inshallah, second video. Thank you very much.